David, thank you for that in Washington. Here in London, our defence correspondent, Alistair Bunkle, also monitoring these pictures as, well, we don't think these are suspects anywhere. I just wonder if these are some of the hostages from inside the Battencourt theatre being taken away, Alistair.
Well, I'm hearing rumours that some of them might have managed to get text messages out to either loved ones, relatives, perhaps the police, whoever, which might, if true, have...
Right, I'm just going to interrupt you. Reuters reporting that this operation is over. The 2 attackers have been killed, and what we may be seeing is, in fact, that appears to be a restaurant, but certainly that's just coming through official confirmation that police operation appears to be successful, even though we don't know, obviously, the number that may have been hurt or injured.
Well, that's the key. I mean, if it's over,
the cost of
it's over very quickly. But
who are you?
I'm no one. I was raised to do one thing. But I've got nothing to fight for.
Nothing will stand in our way. I will finish what you started.
There are stories about what happened.
There is a lot of water on Mars, and there once was a lot of surface flowing water. You don't see it because most of it is mixed with the soil, which we call regolith on Mars. So the Martian soil can be anywhere from as little as 1% in some very dry, deserty-like areas to as much as 60% water.
I just had my knee repaired, please.
Queen Elizabeth makes history today by becoming Britain's longest reigning monarch. Elizabeth, who is 89, is also the nation's oldest ever monarch, surpassing her great-great-grandmother, Queen Victoria's time on the throne. To celebrate, the Queen will take a journey on a steam train in Scotland. Kensington Palace in London has opened a new display to mark the occasion. The images compare the 2 monarchs in the early years of their reigns.
Well, a scandal involving rigged emissions has wiped out a third of Volkswagen's value on the global market. And now the president of VW America is admitting the company violated its mission by manipulating software to make its diesel cars appear cleaner than they are. Here's some straight talking.
So let's be clear about this. Our company was dishonest with the EPA and the California Air Resources Board and with all of you. And in my German words, we have totally screwed up.
A camerawoman appears to trip a man running with his child in his arms.
Was able to catch that bag was lucky.
It remembered me on a concentration camp.
This is Cecil the Lion. For 13 years, he has lived inside the Hwange National Park in Zimbabwe. He was fitted with a GPS collar, protected by law, and well known by not only locals but tourists who came to the park to see him. He was often seen strolling around calmly, laying in the middle of the road and generally unconcerned with all the attention. But all of this ended on the 1st of July 2015. Tourists can't see Cecil anymore. He's dead. But perhaps if tourists really want to see Cecil, or what's left of him, they can make a trip to Minnesota and visit the home of Dr. Walter James Palmer, a dentist and convicted black bear poacher who allegedly killed Cecil illegally by luring him outside of the boundary of the park with some dead animal as bait, and then shooting him from a hiding place with a compound bow. Very sporting indeed. Dr. Palmer, seen in this picture on the left, preferred the compound bow over a gun because it didn't make any loud booming noise to alert the locals that he was killing endangered animals that were protected by law.
Good work by Gorry. Oh, that's a good ball. Here's Stefana! Straight at the keeper, it bounces away! And tucked in by Kyle Simon!
Finally, after more than a decade of on-off negotiations, agreement has now been reached between the major world powers and Iran on curbing its nuclear program. The aim to prevent Iran building atomic weapons.
I believe this is a historic moment. We are reaching an agreement that is not perfect for anybody, but it is what we could accomplish, and it is an important achievement for all of us. Today could have been the end of hope on this issue, but now we are starting a new chapter of hope.
Iran has always insisted its nuclear program is for peaceful purposes only.
The spirit of defiance lives on, at least for local government workers raising this banner in Athens. But the headlines read differently, many talking of a country on the brink. That's a sentiment that rings true on the streets.
The situation is incredibly unstable. It's a gamble. I don't know what to say, but of course I'm very worried.
A Grexit could happen, and the result of that would be really bad. I don't know what to say.
Those fears are...
China's 25-year-long evolving experiment with capitalism has seen its per-person wealth grow by more than 2,000% since 1990. But this summer, the Frankenstein-like hybrid economy that is China's system turned on its creator, forcing the government to take unprecedented action to prevent its collapse. Although the current system of the world's most populous country hangs in the balance, it's nothing new for modern China, which is used to forging ahead into the great unknown. This is an explanation of how it reached its current tipping point. China's economy boomed the fastest in the 2000s, when nationwide GDP jumped by an average of more than 10% per year. As the rulers of the country, the Communist Party saw its power cemented by this staggering pace. But just as fast as it took off, growth has slowed. First with the global recession of 2008, and, after a brief recovery, again sliding steadily since 2010. In 2015, China's growth may dip below 7%, which would be a fantastic rate.
It makes sense for everyone. Here we go, Seth. That's it, thank you. Here's Seth, it's all there. As discussed. Thank you.
Oh my God.
He's not come down yet. Air time to get into some rhythm. It's the sort of pitch we heard the commentators say that in order to be successful because batsmen.
Julian Bond was a legend. He was one of the critical members of the civil rights movement in this country, passed away over the weekend. Now, he had a quote that I want to share with you in a second, but first I want to give you background if you don't know who Julian Bond is. He was a co-founder of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee that was critical, absolutely critical in the civil rights movement. He served 4 terms in the Georgia House of Representatives after his work in civil rights. He served 6 terms in the Georgia Senate, and he was chairman of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. That's the NAACP. He was the first president of the Southern Poverty Law Center. He was a professor at universities including American, Drexel, Harvard, and the University of Virginia. He was a recipient of the National Freedom Award from the National Civil Rights Museum.
Okie dokie, Smokey. The Oscar goes to Eddie Redmayne.
I know there are people out there that say they see blue and black, and those people are crazy. Who sees blue and black? Who sees white and gold?